You know, you brought up the federal government kind of bribing the states. I mean, they do it a lot with highway funding. And what do you think about something like light rail that we've invested, as Representative Carlson would say, in light rail over the, I mean, the Democrats on the one hand say bridges are going to fall down.
Yes.
On the other hand, they're off building a light rail project. I mean, where should our priorities be in our infrastructure here in Minnesota?
Well, there's a lot of taxes on obviously our gas. Most people don't realize that a large chunk of the gas cost is actually going to the government. That's the first thing. Everyone thinks everything's but evil. Gas companies are making all the money, but the government is taking a lot of chunk off that dollar amount you pay every time when you put gas in your car. But the point would be, right now, when they start, or a few years ago when they started the light rail, a large percent of the money is going to light rail, not to fix the bridges or the roads, where 90% or 95, 90, a large percent of the people use. There's very few people are actually using light rail or even have the ability to use light rail. Yet we're spending a large percent of the money on something that only a few people can use or even are using. So why are we doing that? I mean, it shouldn't be the most bang for your buck. The most bang for a buck is what we have right now, the roads and bridges, where people are commuting. That's how we get around.
Yeah, if I want to use the light rail to go downtown, I have to drive down to the Mall of America and take the light rail up. I don't understand that.
Yes, that's not helping anything.
Well, you know, let me get back to areas of reforming government and cutting government. And you know, you mentioned the 4 agencies dealing with healthcare. Are there any other areas that you would target as this really needs reform, really needs change? What other areas other than that can you enlighten the viewers on?
Well, I don't have all the detailed facts. I know a lot of things since I've been running. We get a lot more information sent to us from the legislative branch, so we can see stuff for the first time we haven't been able to see before. And so I've been going through piles and piles of mail and email with all this stuff. But like a couple of the programs, for simplicity, let's say, welfare, or the EBT program, that's basically food stamps. It used to be food stamps, now it's a card. And I've talked to some people in my district, actually, who kind of are associated with this group, and they see the interaction, and they see the abuse of it. I mean, they get people from all over the country using our food stamp cards. It's unlimited. You basically get a credit card to buy whatever you want, basically. And it's like, and they're not monitoring very well. I mean, she sees a huge abuse. You got people in there, they're from Chicago or Florida with our cards that we're paying for, our taxpayers. And then on top of that, they are people that have money. I mean, she said you come in and they're loaded with jewelry, diamonds, and everything, yet you are on food stamps? Hello? There's abuse there. You got welfare, the same thing. We make people dependent on it and the government. We can't get them off. That's not helping their family if we continually give them enough, just enough to survive. I mean, if it's a little bit less to survive comfortably, they're going to try to get off of it or shorten the time. But when you give them keep extending stuff, and then you give them such a large chunk that it gets comfortable for them, who's going to want to get off of it?
Yeah, and then as soon as they try to get off, they get penalized when they get a job.
Yes.
It's like, oh, well, now your health care, that's all gone now. Now go off. And, well, let me ask you about welfare reform. You know, it's something that happened at the federal level about 13, 14, 15 years ago. But Minnesota really hasn't changed their welfare very much. How important of an issue is that to you, to the party, to you lowering that dependency class? We got 2nd and 3rd generation welfare recipients. How big of an issue does that have to be for the party?
It is a big issue. It's a lot of money being spent on there. But also we're not getting the people who are on it. They're not being, society-wise, they're not producing anything realistically. They're not growing themselves, their next generation below them, their kids. They're not building or doing anything or providing a service to their neighbors and friends around them by just taking the whole time. I mean, sometimes you need it. I'm not stating that. There's definitely people that need it, but when it's continually generational or time after time, and they reward mothers out of wedlock. I'm not saying we shouldn't help them, but when you have, I think Wisconsin, they've had the point, if you're on welfare and you have a child, fine. You have another child while you're on welfare, they cut you off, I believe. Because here, there are women that just, try to have more and more babies so they get more and more money. I mean, you have 6, 7, 8, 9 kids and no parent. All the dads are all different parents and are dads, and they collect all this money. And so that's a way for them to make money by having kids. I mean, that's not how you use the system.
And I think it's you can be on welfare within 30 days of moving to Minnesota.
And we have there's a lot of stories I've heard going around my community and other people I've talked to that people come across the border all the time because we have one of the leanest, the easiest way to get welfare. And that's being abused. So here again, people that don't live here, they hear about Minnesota, great welfare state, they move in here and almost immediately can get checks.
Yeah, so that's the whole, I guess that's the Lyndon Carlson's vision of the state there. Well, you know, let me ask you this. He's been in office for 38 years. And I'm a big advocate of term limits. I'm a big advocate that the way to get rid of career politicians is to, you know, that incentive that they can't just make a career out of. Are you in favor of term limits? And if so, what's a ballpark for how long they should be?
Yes, I'm definitely in favor of term limits. I would say in the House, maybe 4 terms, maybe 5, 10 years. Yeah. And I think in the Senate, there are 4 years normally, every 10th year there too, but a couple terms in each one. And so what happened is, not saying you can move up if you need be. Yeah. I mean, if you're at a local level, you're a mayor, city councilor, and then you're a House or U.S. representative, yeah, because you can move your way around. But you're not doing the same job. You're not being comfortable. The problem is a career politician, the biggest thing is they get comfortable in that position. And they're enrooted in their way of doing things and their name recognition so they can stay in there. From the U.S. senators who have been in there 20, 30, 40 years. Or the local ones that have been like Carlson for 38 years in the exact same position.
Well, he gets tenure, and then he gets to write his own district, right? Isn't that what happens? X amount of years, X amount of decades you can do that. All right, well, we only have a couple minutes left here. I want to give you a chance to, you once again, you know, talk to the cameras, make your case, and talk to the voters who are going to be voting in November. Yes,
I mean, I haven't run for politics before. This is the first time for me. I'm not into career politician, being a lifestyle for me. I mean, obviously, I might spend a few terms in it if I do get fortunate enough to get elected by my district. But I really feel we need fresh, new leadership. Someone who's worked in the public sector, owned your own company, and worked for other people, and understand what it takes. I've done a lot of community involvement. Volunteer as a youth pastor for 12 years, and the EDA for City of Crystal, and the Rotary, and the council, investment clubs and president, and a lot of sports teams I've been coaches of. So I've been around the community. I hear and see things, and I've learned from the outside. I don't have the government in this little circle of favoritism of that circle that everyone who is a politician are in. I mean, they're not really see the real world. I mean, they don't have to worry about finding a job. If they're in there, they're not looking for a job or that pay, or if they're self-employed to get the check. And you're working, and all of a sudden that person doesn't pay you. Yeah. How do you feed your family?
Yeah, well, you're self-employed. You're the last person to get paid.
And so I've had that experience, and Lyndon hasn't had for at least 38 years.
Yeah, well, he's a retired teacher. I don't think he's ever had it.
Yeah, so you never had to deal with that. And so I bring that to it, and I bring a desire and a passion to this thing. I'm going to work my tail off for the people. I want to work my tail off for you, the district, my district, and the state. What's best for you. I'm not here what's best for, if I don't get elected again, just because I voted for stuff that's best interest for the people in the state of Minnesota, I don't care. I want to do the job the best I can for the people, period. And if that makes the case that I didn't win again because someone in the media or other side wants to make me look bad, but I don't care. I'm in it to make a difference. And that is my concern, that's my belief, and it's my passion. I make a difference in the right direction for the people in this district.
Well, Reid, thanks. Good luck to you.
Thanks
for coming in. Hey, you people in 45B, put my friend in office and get some change here in government. All right, well, until next time, folks, we'll see you next week. We're out of here.
Thank you.